The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, it is the Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate the hell out of it. And a beautiful Sunday. I hope it is where you are listening from. Gotta love the weekends when it starts getting nice. We've all been through probably some crappy winters, depending on where you live, but it's nice. You start feeling it. You go, yep, this is it. This is the approach of summer. And usually that's a good thing. Some of the big cities, meh, not so much. People get a little rambunctious in summer in the city. But I had to do some of that, what they call spring cleaning. And there's only one way to do it. You get a giant dumpster, like a dumpster that you find behind a factory. And you put it in your driveway, and you fall out of love with everything you own. No emotion attached to it whatsoever. You go through things. I was opening up boxes that I moved from New York down to South Carolina, big boxes full of things, lovingly protected and packed in the box. And I'm thinking, if I didn't even notice I didn't have this at hand right there, right next to me somewhere, I wasn't thinking about it for 3 years, it's garbage. Whatever it is, don't care. It is getting tossed. So I've spent the better part of the weekend heaving things over the top of a dumpster. So, but, that's the biggest thing. I don't think anyone I'm talking to is a hoarder. They might be, but there's a fine line between hoarding and just not wanting to part with your things. Those are my things. You open up a box and you look and go, oh, but I remember using this. I remember paying for this. And if you're into it, I guess there are some things you could put online and sell if you want to become, a salesman. You want to become a salesman? Start selling your stuff online, opening accounts, shipping stuff, answering complaints. That's your prerogative, too. Or you could pick it up and throw it away. And I'll tell you, half the battle was Dallas, my Belgian Malinois. You pick up anything and go to throw it away, he will try to rip it out of your hands, and you spend half the time chasing him around. He's dragging a box across the lawn. But that's what I'm talking about. The fun. It's spring. Summer's around the corner. You're outside, getting some color on that face. You still look like a vampire. Nothing worse than looking in that mirror in the middle of January. You're like, what the hell is happening here? Finally out in the sun. It's good. It's a good thing. I just want to have people feeling a little good before we dump all this crap on them about what's happening in the world. I'll start with Iran. And I said this last week. I'm not really sure what's going on in Iran. I don't know what. I'm going to call it a war. People have an argument of semantics, but if missiles are being launched and people are being blown up and stuff, and believe me, I don't care. I'm just saying if that's happening, I think it qualifies as a war. So I don't know what the war is. I don't. I have no idea what anyone is doing over there and what it's supposed to accomplish. And I hear a lot of Democrats and liberals and Trump haters and everybody saying Trump doesn't have a plan. He doesn't have an exit strategy. Everything was fine. There wasn't a threat before he jumped in there. Hey, I don't know about that either. I have opinions. I think over the course of history, Iran has been a thorn in the world's side. And unfortunately, we have to deal with the Middle East. We have to be part of that world. I don't like it any more than you do, folks. But there are certain places, certain countries, certain leaders that we just have to deal with. And it sucks. And Iran has always been a bit of a burden on the Middle East especially. So if that was the deal, well, we got to deal with them. Decade upon decade, they've been a pain in everyone's ass over there. If that's the case, I don't care. I'm fine with that. I don't mind. I don't mind if you want to go over there and carpet bomb. But is that it? Or do we care about the Iranian people? Because they're so wonderful and they were trying to rise up, and when they protest, the government kills them. And they've killed anywhere between three people and 50,000 people. I don't know. I tend to not believe anything I see online anymore, that's for sure. And the news, I haven't believed anything I've seen on the news in quite some time. So I don't know about that, but that would seem like a noble thing. If you want to free people, we tried that numerous times over the course of history. Doesn't seem to work very well. Doesn't really work out the way everyone thought. They'll be coming up to our soldiers and putting roses in their gun barrels to thank the Americans for... I don't see that. Don't see it happening. Nuclear, that's got to be it. We don't want anyone having nuclear bombs unless they're part of the big nuclear bomb club. And even a few of them we could probably do away with. But so we can't have them having a bomb. And they were trying to build one. We know this because I've seen reports, just like I saw reports about Saddam Hussein and his weapons of mass destruction. Remember the ice cream and weenie trucks he was driving around? He was driving around all those all around Iraq, and they were making chemical weapons in those things. Little food carts. We serve halal. The food carts like you see in Manhattan. But maybe that's it. And that would be, we'd be saving the world from a cataclysmic event. Imagine going into the future and you see that Iran had nuked the world, and you had a time machine and you could come back to 2026 and go, please, Mr. President, you must listen. They are going to nuke the earth. So if that's the case, all right, seems noble enough. Then there's the Trump angle. Maybe Trump is just pissed off. Maybe he's getting a few years under his belt. He was the president once. He's been kicked around by the Democrats for a couple of decades almost now. And he's just like, screw yous all. I need a punching bag. And I go in there and lay some waste down. So maybe that's it. And I like Trump, but I'm not that big a fan to where I think our soldiers should be fighting somewhere because some guy is peeved at the way he's been treated over the course of the years. But I don't know that either. That's just the case. That's the case. That's the problem. I don't know what this war is about. No one, including Donald Trump, has come forward and done a press conference that definitively lets the American people know why the hell we're doing anything over there. And I get it. Like I said, there are a couple of those examples I just gave that I'm like, yeah, okay, that seems reasonable. I'm not saying I'm against what's going on, but I'm not saying I'm for it either. I'm saying, could someone give me a definitive reason what we're doing over there? Maybe. I do a lot of research. I do a lot of reading. I watch a lot of videos on the topic. And this is one military action that I really don't have a clue what we're doing over there. The Straits of Hormuz, Yeah, they were opened. Iran, they're a-holes when it comes to every so often shutting it down or causing some problems over there. But it was open. And then we get into this kerfuffle, if I may use such bold language, and now it's a point of contention. It's open, it's closed. It's in America's hands. It's in Iran's hands. It's they're blowing up boats from other countries. We just shot a shell into the engine room of a ship, an Iranian ship, and I have no idea why. So maybe, if you want to give a call, 800-848-9222, 800-848-9222, maybe you can enlighten me. We'll switch roles here. The talk show host needs to be enlightened as to what in the hell we are doing over there. Yeah, they're bad. I get it. The Iranian government, bad. I've lived a few years, and I've lived through some of Iran's greatest hits, as they call them. We've seen a lot of our own soldiers, victims of Iranian terrorism, and they're not nice guys. I get that. But there's plenty of not nice guys around the world. We're not just going in and dropping some hardware on them. There's got to be some reason we're doing it now to Iran. So I don't know. Donald Trump, he had something to say. And, all right, I guess we'll take some calls after the break, and I'll read you Donald Trump's message that he put on social media about taking out or capturing, boarding a cargo ship in Iran, trying to get through our naval blockade. So we'll be back with that, your calls, and a hell of a lot more as the Anthony Cumia Show continues.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, talking about Iran and why are we there? What are we doing? Is an end in sight? I know there are peace talks. Are they peace talks or are they other types of talks? That's going on through Pakistan. And there are some days Trump's like, very good, great talks, we'll be home in no time. And then other ones are like, we're wiping them off the face of the globe. So, again, I don't know. So Trump said today an Iranian-flagged cargo ship named Duska, nearly 900 feet long and weighing almost as much as an aircraft carrier, tried to get past our naval blockade. And it did not go well for them. You just read. You don't even have to do the Trump voice. You just hear the Trump voice when you read it. The U.S. Navy guided missile destroyer USS Spruance intercepted the Tuska in the Gulf of Oman and gave them a fair warning to stop. The Iranian crew refused to listen, so our Navy ship stopped them right in their tracks by blowing a hole in their engine room. Right now, U.S. Marines have custody of the vessel. The Tuska is under U.S. Treasury sanctions because of their prior history of illegal activity. We have full custody of the ship and are seeing what's on board. No thank you for your attention to this matter, written in that statement. But all right, so we're blowing holes in their ships if they go past the blockade, and the blockade is because of sanctions, Treasury sanctions, or we don't want them moving weapons, or we want them to leave the Strait of Hormuz open. Does anyone know? Again, that's my theme here with this topic tonight. Not only do I not know, does anyone know? And as far as the timeline goes, I understand in military conflicts, it's very difficult to say a specific date that you'll be wrapping up, especially when it hasn't been that long, relatively speaking. But goals, that's the big thing. with war is to have strategic goals in place. What do we want Iran to do? What do we want of them? A complete complete deconstruction of their government, new leadership, a new type of no more Islam. Like, what do we want? The nuke thing, that seemed to be very important. We want to guarantee that they will not build nuclear weapons. And so how is that guaranteed? I hear people whining that, Obama had that and Trump ruined it. He had a guarantee from the Iranian government that they weren't going to build nuclear weapons. Really? You believe them? Decade upon decade, since the 70s, they have done nothing but lie and destroy and fund terrorism. But, we're going to believe them that an organization like the United Nations, that cluster F, would actually be able to go in there on a regular basis and investigate. Do you know how big Iran is? Do you know how desolate it is? Mountains and caves and places to hide things. Everyone thinks you could just walk around like a movie. You walk around with a gun and you go, in here, I think it's in here. And there's a bunch of scientists working on a nuke. There can be no guarantees. And if that's the game that Trump wants to play, fine. Then you got to destroy all the potential nuclear sites and clean up the mess. And it does seem to be like, it's not really our job. World police, I don't think so anyway. Let's talk to Joseph in Brooklyn. What's up, my friend?
How you doing, Anthony? Listen, I got bad news for you. Trump failed. He failed completely. You know why?
Why?
He hears that 40,000 people, 50,000 people were killed by the government of Iran, their own people, right? What does he do? He doesn't do the key thing you got to do. You got to arm the people of the country, let them fight. Otherwise, there's going to be another 50, 100,000 more dead, guaranteed. How do you live with something like that? In the Revolutionary War in this country, common people grabbed their long rifles and left their occupations and went to fight alongside the revolutionary new American army.
Yeah.
You need to do that. You get a bunch of helicopters. You get these huge helicopters, crates of rifles, pistols, and ammunition. You drop them in the major residential areas. They pop open on the ground. People got the guns. That's the only way. Let them fight.
I understand that, Joe. Let me just bring up, I'll play the devil's advocate. Yeah. What if they don't really want to fight? What if the people are either scared or they don't really care? We've had this situation. We have had proxy wars. We've been involved with wars that sound very similar to what you're talking about. Vietnamization was a big thing in the Nam, where we had to get the South Vietnamese. They want to be free. They want to fight. It turned out they really didn't. Our illusion and delusion at times is that we can figure out what these people want when they're under the boot of an oppressive government. And if we just throw them some weapons, they'll pick them up and start fighting. The Revolutionary War worked because the Americans, they wanted to be free. They wanted to fight England. They wanted their own country. I don't really think any of these people in any of these Middle Eastern countries give a crap about how they live and what oppressive government they live under. There might be a small segment of protesters that are easily squashed by the government, but I don't think they're picking up weapons to fight an oppressive government. They just don't have the heart.
Have no weapons. What do they got? They got sticks and stones? You get blown away. You get blown away on the spot.
Then you get a proxy war, and then China and Russia join in, and then we're funding the other side, and it's more money, and then we got to send people in to help them. it's always it always escalates, and we're always the bad guys, and we wind up getting our asses kicked. I get you, though.
Can I speak?
Yeah, what's up?
The point is, there's something else there. I'm going to tell you. 30 countries all over the world. In the Middle East, is no stranger to me.
I got you.
The IRGC and the mullahs got something in their back pocket. I'm going to tell you.
Could be.
They're going to drop canisters of gas. They're going to wipe out the whole civilization themselves. If they
God
think
forbid.
that there's no hope.
God forbid, Joseph. God forbid. Thanks for the call, buddy. Boy, that took a tragic turn, didn't it? Canisters. And that's, I guess, why we're there. I don't want to get into any, not that I was getting into an argument with Joe, but I don't want to get into arguments with people over, well, screw that and screw Trump, or Trump's awesome and screw Israel. And I just want to hear the reasons. I'm not arguing anything anyone's saying. The whole thing I started when I started the show is I don't know. And I asked the callers to maybe enlighten me. So maybe we can do it that way. But we got, let me see, Scott, Venice, Floridity. What's up? Hello, Scott.
I guess
Great,
I'm off topic, but I have a hypothetical question for you.
Right.
What's one or two things you wish our founding fathers would have done differently when they were forming our government?
How about taking a little more time writing those rights in the Bill of Rights? How about clearing them up a little and not leaving them so vague? How about that we have the right to bear arms absolutely, definitively, and no liberal piece of garbage can take that right from you? Instead of a militia, we need the Second Amendment to have
to interpretate.
I know. I can't stand that part of it. But, maybe they did that on purpose. And there's plenty of things they did do that have been interpreted over the course of the years to not be what they meant. The Supreme Court twists it and turns it, as do the people. Scott, thanks, man. I got to move on. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back. More Trump and psycho drugs. Yeah, Trump and LSD next.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. We'll go right to the phones here. Maybe I'll get an answer. Why the hell we're in Iran and what we're doing, what we hope will happen. Chris from Bethpage, Long Island. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Anthony. I think they made it pretty clear while they're in there. Trump said, and Netanyahu, that Iran is not allowed to enrich more than 60% of. They were getting worried about the enrichment, and they want that stopped. You're not allowed to do it. You can go from 60 to 90, they say, in a heartbeat. And they were getting very close to enriching, and that had to be stopped. That's number one, and that's the key reason we went in there. If Iran wasn't enriching any of this, that could potentially make nuclear weapons, we wouldn't be there. And I don't think Trump would be there. Trump doesn't really like war, no matter what people say. And your previous caller, I have to totally disagree with him. He's saying, arm the citizens and they'll rise above. How's that worked in Ukraine? We've given them tons of that's still a stalemate for 4 years. So I disagree with the guy that Trump is failing. I like everything Trump's doing here. I do. The Iranians should not be allowed. They have even Hitler, I hate to say this, even Hitler had allies. He had Italy and Japan fighting with him. This country it's one against the world, basically. And I know China's sneaky with them from time to time, but at the end of the day, everybody wants to see this regime go down, everybody. And it's going to happen. Trust me when I say this, a year from now when I call you, we're going to look back and go, it might take a while, but they're going to be done, this regime. They're already running out of money paying for those the soldiers, too, by the way. And when you start squeezing them with money and they run out of money, guess what happens? They're going to start – they're going to be like, why are we fighting anymore? And they're going to take the peace deal Trump's offering. It's going to be a while, but it's going to happen. And they're going to squeeze them, trust me. But,
all right.
That's why Trump's there. It's the uranium. We cannot have them enriching it. And they are the worst person for 47 years. This has been going on. I'm 63 years old. I was sick when those hostages were there for 444 days.
Oh, yeah.
I've been waiting for this all along.
We
They're the
all
worst
remember
regime
that.
that ever existed.
A payback would have been nice, but you know something, Chris? What about the prospect? What about the prospect of a Democrat? What if we get a Democrat president, and God forbid, a House and a Senate, where we go right back to kowtowing, kissing the ass of Iran, and what's going to happen?
We're going to look back and go, it might take a while.
I hear an echo. Oh, well. There we go. Well, I said it. He could hear it on the radio. Remember making a call on the radio the first time? And you'd hear yourself talking, and it would confuse you. But, yeah, that's all I'm saying. What about Democrats in office? We've seen what they do with countries like Iran. Boatloads of money, no accountability. Do you think anyone was keeping tabs on the nuclear proliferation deal that Obama and Iran signed? Of course not. Of course not. And then, while I don't, I'm not trying to make an issue with Chris, who just called, but how the hell do we know what they were up to as far as their uranium or plutonium levels? What were they up to? How did we know? All I have to go on is that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, and we all saw how that turned out. There always seems to be some ulterior motive for a war, and we get it. We get it all the time. Stupid America. We got to get our noses into everything. I kind of liked Trump's first term. You know, more could have been done. I think he was just dipping his toes in the water at the time, and listening to too many people. But this is a little bit of a different Trump now, isn't it? It really is. I would like a lot more energy, time, and resources spent on the United States of America, our country, 'tis of thee. Because this Middle East thing is distracting. All the other things that the Democrats throw out there is distracting. And we still have a boatload of illegals here that are destroying the country. We have rampant crime, especially in the big cities, that is making the cities uninhabitable. The high taxes, the prices of everything, just all that stuff needs to be dealt with. I remember as a kid, when I first started even listening to politics, you would hear about the Democrats and Republicans getting together and trying to hammer out some bill, some deal that was going to be good for the American people. Most of these weren't extremist ideas. The Republicans and Democrats worked together. They hammered it out. I remember Reagan and Tip O'Neill. That was always a big thing. Reagan and Tip O'Neill would have their issues, and then things would get done. I cannot remember in decades now a serious big piece of legislation that both parties have signed off on. We get a lot of executive orders, but we don't get both parties agreeing with the people's will. The people want this. Let's hammer out a deal and do it. It doesn't happen. It's every time they're doing anything, it's that, all right, we're going to run out of money. They got to come up with something. Oh, they're going on recess now. Oh, they signed this interim bill. What happened to, hey, this is a bill that will make things better, that isn't full of one side or the other's extremist programs that cost a boatload of money and do nothing for the country? When was the last time? They don't even look at each other, never mind talk to each other anymore. It's not like it used to be where they were opponents They were each other's opposition. But the greater good of the country really did seem to be their primary goal there many, many years ago. Now it's only party. It's only how will this affect my chance of getting elected? How much money can I get out of this? How can I screw the other side? And that seems to be where we're at. Nothing is getting done. Everything is one party against the other, the president against the other party trying to imprison people. And we walk around going, what do we expect to get done? Nothing. Eric Orlando, what's up?
Anthony, once again, a great show.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I wanted to call about old Crazy Joe that called earlier. There was something he forgot to say. Now, earlier this month on Fox, Trump, the government tried to help, with the Iraqi Kurds to try to get weapons into Iran using them, but apparently they kept the weapons.
Uh-huh. The government you're talking about,
Yeah, our U.S. government, I believe, was supposed to help, go to the Iraqi Kurds. They were supposed to go into Iran behind the scenes and give them. It's like, it's like they were making a deal with Jerry Lundergaard. I promise we'll give them the weapons.
Okay, I promise. Not talking about your word, Jerry. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. Like, that's a movie. If you wanted to arm the general population of a country to overthrow the government, do you know how many advisors have to be sent in? People to train the people on how to use these weapons, strategy. You don't just go, it's not Red Dawn where the Wolverines are going to come and pop up behind a hay bale and get you. It takes organization and strategy and knowledge and training. I don't think people understand we don't live in a movie, Mr. Eric.
Nope. No, we don't.
Yep. All right, buddy.
Thank you, Anthony.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it would be nice, That's what a movie would be. A big plane flies over, parachute crates of arms down to the people. They pick them up. They instantly know how to use them. If it's like an American movie or a Netflix movie, all the women are the best fighters. Little wafy girls are spinning back kicks on giant Iranian soldiers, kicking their ass, throwing perfect grenade lobs into foxholes and trenches. That's how movies work. And a big sassy black woman to run the whole show. We coming in there. You ain't going to have no place to hide. And the audience is like, woo, I love her. She's so sassy. That's a movie. Real life, not so much. Doesn't really work that way. It would be nice, though. And like I said, we always end up being in the quagmire. We end up in the quicksand because you can't just arm people. Vietnam. Let's just arm the South Vietnamese. And then, we got to send some advisors in. You got to advise them on how to do this. Well, the advisors are now in danger. We got to send some Marines in to protect the advisors. And then the Marines go out on patrol. And before you know it, you got just about 60,000 dead Americans because we wanted to arm the South Vietnamese. So don't always work that way. Hey, look who's on the phone. Susan, how are you, dear?
Well, my blood pressure has been elevated quite a bit. So this is my opinion on the fact I heard President Trump when he addressed the issue that we were trying to get arms into the Iranian people who already, have expressed and sacrificed so many lives to overthrow. But so he said that they did that, and then he didn't say who or what, but he said the arms were basically, I guess let's use the word stolen for now. But how do we know? Maybe President Trump said that, and maybe the arms, maybe we have a whole operation there in Iran that's been recruiting and arming and training people, and that's why the longer this goes on, because it is going to have to be the very diverse. You know, people talk about the Persians and whatever. It's a very diverse. There's a lot of Jewish people that live in Iran, so we don't know. And I believe that you know, President Trump has the armor of God, and that Jesus does not want to see slaughtering of innocent people, and he said that we have an obligation to protect innocent people. So I just feel like people keep praying and stop making up stuff.
All right, Susan. Glad to hear your take on this. I appreciate it, Susan. Susan always sounds like she needs a little nightcap before bed. You know, she puts her little wool hat on and her feety pajamas, and then maybe takes a little nip, a little bourbon, before she lays down. But thank you, Susan, for the call. Again, a totally different thing. We got the nuclear thing. We got Susan with some arms that were stolen. I don't. But Fred, maybe Fred could figure this out.
Hi, Ant. I finally got through after all these months. I tried.
It is you, Fred. I saw Fred from Brooklyn, my good friend Fred from Brooklyn. I've known Fred many years. Fred, can you explain the Iranian situation?
It's only my opinion, but I think the Iranian job is done already. They killed all the mullahs. They killed all the ayatollahs. They did everything they needed to do. They took control of the whole thing. Now, it's a smokescreen. It's a clandestine issue that they get to anytime they need to. They throw it out there, and it takes over the press completely. Whether he's arguing about the Pope, whether he's arguing about the Strait of Hormuz, about oil, there's one thing that Trump is doing here behind the scenes that nobody is looking at.
So there's 5D chess again? 8D chess we're working on?
Well, there's a cartel. There's the Obama cartel.
Right.
That tried to ruin his life. That if Iran tried to kill Trump in Pennsylvania, I guarantee you that the whole Obama is a machine nationwide. He had 2 elected terms, and then he stole a 3rd term. And that gave him a chance to infiltrate the entire American system. And they were running away with it. They had us thinking men can go with women in sports and everything else. But he's picking them apart. And then he's throwing guys like Swalwell out there, and the news is looking at them. And then it's back to Iran. And then he does something, and the stock market goes up 1,000 points. But behind the scenes, he has one enemy who financed Iran, who sent pallets of billions of dollars to Iran, who wanted to control the Middle East. And that is the Obama cartel, who have their jackboots on every compromised politician, left and
doesn't
right.
it? But Fred, doesn't it seem a little immoral to put American lives in danger, and a few have been killed during these missions, just to screw over Barack Hussein Obama?
No, it's not screw over Barack Obama. He has a grasp on America that takes more than just elections to get out of. He built a cartel, man.
So we don't know. We just don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but something is, and we should just go, let's see how it plays out.
You know, I agree with you, but war isn't pretty. We got to dominate the area. We got to dominate the area, but behind the scenes, I mean, it's being used as a genius press, a blockade.
It's
Anytime
manipulating
something
the press.
happens in Iran, Trump is in control of what's happening behind the scenes. Believe you me. He built a better cartel. Good American cartel with American values.
I guess we'll see. History will show. Fred, thanks for the call, man. Feel better. I know Fred is struggling with health issues, and thoughts and prayers, not like the goofy way thoughts and prayers, actual thoughts and prayers to you, Fred. There goes Fred from Brooklyn. My God. See? There's just so many different takes on this. And that's the toughest part. That was kind of what I was saying, and I wanted to see an example of it through people calling in and saying, why are we doing this? And there's a mixture. There's a whole cavalcade of reasons because we really don't know. And like I said, it might be noble. There might be a very noble reason. And some people are convinced as to what the reason is. No, this is it. I know it. I was told it. There's proof. But still, it's not a sure thing. I do not know why we're there. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's bad to be there because of that. But I would kind of like to know definitively what in the hell we are doing over there. Right? I think so. Stay on the line. A lot of people calling in with this topic. We'll stick on this for a little while, but we'll also go, like I said, Trump signed an executive order for psychedelic drugs to be studied. They might be able to be used for mental health. And Joe Rogan was in the White House pushing LSD on Donald Trump. We'll see what that's all about, and plenty more when we come back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. Talking about Iran and Trump. Why are we there? I'm getting a lot of different answers to this. I was checking on my social media over here on X. Chauncey Hayden, he's over there in Ireland, a good friend. He says it's about oil. Oil's the heartbeat of the world. Oil's what funds Iran's love of terrorism. Oil controls the foreign wars. Oil equals money equals power. Trump wants control of the oil, thus control global ideology and economics. The oil thing has been done so many times. You'll have people say that the Iraqi thing was about oil. Anytime we drop a bomb in the Middle East, Libya, Syria, everything's about oil. Don't we have our own oil now? Aren't we awesome with oil? Aren't we filthy with oil now? And we get along great with the rest of the Middle East, so it seems. Saudi, they seem like they don't have any problems with us right now, this moment. So I don't know. Iran? I think Iran kind of screws us. If we cut off Iranian oil, then our oil is worth more. Maybe that's what Chauncey meant by that. And Doug Evans on X, how does every hammered female boomer in New York manage to call your show every single Sunday? Well, I don't know, Doug, but I certainly am not going to be complaining about it. Seems fine by me. All right, this is a little weird. Donald Trump, he signed an executive order. There's the picture. It's got RFK Jr., Joe Rogan. They're both behind Donald Trump, and Don is holding up that signature on one of his executive orders. Trump has signed an EO to make certain psychedelic drugs more available to treat mental health conditions such as depression and anxiety. You know, I went through a stint of anxiety in my early 20s. Out of nowhere, just this overwhelming feeling of dread and fear. And you didn't know where it came from. There was no reason, and there was nothing you could do about it. And that lasted like a couple of years until I just went, all right, whatever you're going to do it. If this is going to be something that, you know, my head pops off or I go crazy and I start running naked down the road going blah, 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 just do it. because I'm tired of it. And it kind of took the power away from the anxiety. I'd feel it coming up, and I'd be like, yeah, and so. And that was it. That was how I treated my anxiety back then, because there was really nothing to treat it. And you didn't want to tell people. Your friends would call you a pussy. Be like, what's the matter with you? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. They might even use the F word for not being very manly. So I kept that all to myself like a real man does. Shove that down. Bury it. That's the healthy way to deal with issues. Let's see. He directed $50 million in federal funds to make them more accessible and ordered the FDA to fast-track a review of such drugs as psilocybin and ibogaine and some weight. Ibogaine. Yep, he had Joe Rogan behind him. And he said during the announcement, Rogan said he had texted Trump. That amazes me that like my number and Trump's number are right there in Joe Rogan's phone. That's pretty amazing to me anyway. I had to make it about me somehow. During the announcement, Rogan said he had texted Trump about ibogaine, and the president responded, "Sounds great. Do you want an FDA approval? Let's do it." So right to it. I don't know about this one. What I was going to say when I was talking about my anxiety is I could not, in my wildest dreams, imagine having anxiety and taking some hallucinogenic drug. Anxiety stopped me from smoking weed back in the 80s. That was the last time I smoked, was in the 80s. Because the thought of being high and getting an anxiety attack kind of a thing was more frightening than anything. Get paranoid, you start thinking of things, you think too deeply into things when you're smoking. Now imagine, popping some acid, a mescaline or LSD. Oh, my God. But they say, the they people say that the studies have shown, I'm using all the catchphrases, people have said, studies have shown that these do work in certain people with certain generalized anxiety disorders and other mental illnesses. But I don't know. They kind of legalized weed, and now all you see are people walking down the street high. And I don't know. I don't know if I want the nuts that are out there now to be drugged out nuts, on acid nuts. But it's just to look deeper into it. I got no problems about that. Donald Trump and Rogan working together. Who the hell ever thought you'd see that day? The President of the United States and Joe Rogan. All right, don't go anywhere. We will continue. And let me see. What do we got here? Oh, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. We'll talk about that. The teen mobs in Chicago getting a little crazy when we come back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I hate Steven Singer, but you know what I love? Mothers. Think about it. Before morning coffee and chaos, before the day even starts, there's mom, the one who wakes up at sunrise, packs lunches, drives carpools, and somehow keeps everything together. She's the sunrise of the family. That's why Steven Singer created something special this Mother's Day. His brand new Sunrise 24-karat gold-dipped rose. This exclusive rose captures colors of the morning. A morning sunrise with sparkling blue that fades to a pinkish purple, to a warm golden yellow. It's stunning. Steven's gold-dipped roses are real roses dipped in, preserved in real gold, guaranteed to last a lifetime, just like mom's love. They arrive in beautiful gift box. They're shipped for free with your own personalized message. Steven's new Sunrise Rose is just $89 exclusively and only available
at IHateStevenSinger.com. Celebrate the moms who make every sunrise possible. Steven Singer Jewelers.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Hope you're all doing well. Top of the show was talking about Iran and why we're there. I'm in a conundrum here. I can't figure out why we're doing anything in Iran. Not that there aren't reasons. There just seems to be too many reasons. And I think the American people, we should all know. We should absolutely know. The fact that I am not sure, I've heard many, many reasons. I've taken calls today during this show, the past hour, and I've gotten different answers as to why people think we're there. I want the president, our leadership, the people that are doing this, the people that have gotten us over there, to tell the American people what we're there for and what we're hoping to accomplish and when we'll be done. Approximately. Like I said, I know war is not it's not run on a clock schedule. So let's talk to Kyle in Old Virginia. Boy, you guys got your hands full with that governor over there.
Oh, yeah.
Oof, what
we
a
got an election
disaster
Tuesday, and it's probably going to be for naught, but I'm voting. So
yeah, give it a whirl, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's pretty complex, but I would say that Iran is kind of they kind of help out Russia. They were, especially during that the war.
Yeah, they've been allies. Yeah.
So they've been, going in there has been kind of putting a stop to any shenanigans that they could be helping Russia out with. But another thing is that they supply China with a lot of their energy, in particular oil, as you had said previously. So I think that by getting control of that and of course the uranium and the the various other things, that humanitarian problems that were going on there, there's plenty of reasons to be there, but really it is money, oil, and kind of choking out our enemies, the bigger groups, Russia and China. So I think that's a big part of it, but it's a police action that's gone very successfully so far. I mean, I must say, besides the gas prices, which I think is a small price to pay, killing off pretty much everything they have there and giving them an opportunity to play ball with us is, I think it's fair game. I'm not totally against the war, but I'm also not a fan of it either. I mean,
right.
I just think that once we get out of that and we can kind of control the Western Hemisphere, or our side of the, take care of Cuba, maybe even Greenland, so that we have a little bit more security here. Because if we don't, and of course, God forbid, a Democrat gets in office, we could be looking at some very, very bad things in the future, the near future. So that's what I wanted to say on the topic. I don't know. I'm just as curious to know, but
Yeah, it would be nice if someone said that. I don't know. Some things I guess you can't say, well, we're trying to choke off China. I guess you can't just come out and say that. Some things have to be implied. But all right, Kyle, appreciate your take. Right. Thanks, man. Yeah, see, just getting all kinds of different people's opinions and ideas. And, with Vietnam, it was the goddamn commies. It was the commies. Remember that? No one wants a commie. They take one country in Indochina, and the rest of them fall like dominoes. That's what we heard. So we couldn't let even one go down. Even though we had been through Korea not too long before that, and that ended up a stalemate. And then we got right back into the same situation. I don't know. Ugh. Crazy. All right, if you got any calls you want to make, here's my buddy. We'll take Joe. Hey, Curry, what's up, my friend?
Hey, Ant, how's it going, pal?
Good, good. You want to talk about Iran, huh?
Yes, I do. I do. Now, basically, you were going over the wonders and the reasons of why we're there. Basically, what it is how it started is that Netanyahu advised Trump that he had all the major players in one spot in Iran. Now, in previous administrations, they would go, well, we can't do that, where Trump is an action man, and he took them all out. Now, the reason they did is for several reasons. Basically, the nuclear ambitions, we all know about that. We need to stop that, and it needs to be stopped immediately. We need to get inspectors in. Regardless of how that goes, we need to make an effort to get in there.
Yeah.
Cyber warfare is also another major thing where basically they've been attacking, and, our pal Vinny could tell you everything that's going on with that. Economic mismanagement, that whole region has been upset. Also, another thing why the UAE is in with us is that there was an interesting article in the Post a couple of months ago saying that they're building the biggest buildings in the world, and they're being built in the UAE. And it's investment, not from private investment, but those governments, because they want billions, trillions actually, of dollars put into that area for tourism and business.
Right.
And they cannot afford Iran stepping in on
that. That loose cannon screwing everything up while they're trying to get tourism.
Exactly. Also, another thing is what the gentleman also brought up before is oil going to Russia and to China, where we will have control of that, which means that we will bring China to the table in regards to Taiwan. We could pressure Putin on the war with the Ukraine. So it's kind of a bargaining chip with that. And the Strait of Hormuz, they need to control that because they can't have Iran stepping in and stopping it with, especially they got to pay a toll.
It's a drunk doorman. It's the doorman at the club that's just as drunk and belligerent as the people inside.
Yeah, and like I said, that other guy that called in, that guy Joe saying drop weapons. What it's like Archie Bunker trying to figure out how to stop hijacking.
Hand out the heaters.
And then nobody shoots nobody.
No one's going to pull out a rod if everyone's packing heat.
Yeah, exactly. Now, also another thing with the length of the war. The war, basically, there is a certain amount of time that goes by before, I believe it's 90 days before they have to go against Congress. But the key thing, and this is what I preface on my show, is they got to wrap this up before the midterms. And it's got to be done quickly because we're going into that cycle. So it's a very big game of chess that we're playing. Also, the reason why you're hearing, well, one day we can get through the strait, the next day we can't, is because they're negotiating with one set of officials there, but it's not the radical set. So it's a game of chess that we got to play. And the key thing is that with oil, people are blaming, gas is $4 a gallon. But yeah, under this, it's a temporary thing to free oil to a lower position, where under the Biden administration, it was just killing it because they were going to alternate sources. So, we got to wait it out. We got to be patient with this.
All right. I like your take. And like I said before, some things you can't just say. We're trying to screw over China. Economically, they're the idiot in the region that's ruining everybody else's plans. In the area. So, no, you make a good point there, Joe. And that's my buddy Joe Curry. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the call. Yeah. It could be a bunch of things. And it could have been, like Joe said, perfect timing. Hey, look, all these clowns are in one room. You want to slam a rocket down on them? And then we can sort it out. So maybe that's it. I don't know. But let's concentrate on something a little closer to home. And by home, I mean New York, my original birthplace and place of residence for many years until the Democrats destroyed it so badly that even I felt compelled to pick up and leave. Zoran Memdani, he loves this taxing the rich thing, not understanding that by the rich in New York City, he's including a lot of people that are basically working class. They're not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination in New York. And then investors. He wants to hit up people that have, and this is Hochul too, that have property in New York City and they don't live there. So penalize them. My God, you have a building, but you don't live in it. We got to tax you. Why? Why is that? Does that make any sense? Is there any reason why not living in an investment property? You take care of it. God knows you're paying unbelievable property taxes on it, and that's going to the government. But just because you have the building and you're not living there, then you should pay even more. You know what that's going to do? It's going to stop investment in real estate in New York City. And they want that because the goal is for any building in New York City to be taken over somehow by the communist government of Zohran Mamdani. This is one of his plans. If we could tax the people, force them to sell their properties. I can't live here anymore. This is costing me too much money. I'm selling my property. And then they throw a bunch of speed bumps and monkey wrenches into the business of selling your property. We've already seen what he wants to do. You'd be waiting years to be able to sell your property, still paying taxes, unless, of course, you want to go to the government, the state and city government, and sell your property to them. Then they could open up public housing. And before you know it, the entire city of New York are projects and illegals and Section 8. And it's even more of a crap hole than it is as we speak right now. Oh, yeah, this is happening. And when we get back from the break, we'll listen to Mr. Mayor Mamdani on how excited he gets at the prospect of taxing people when we return.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and I want to talk more about Zohran Mamdani and his love of taxes. The tax man. This is clip AC1, Zohran Mamdani. He's claiming that taxing the rich is successful and that people leaving New York, it's just some kind of, as he put it, imaginary exodus. We see people leaving. I left. I'm one of those people that New York loved having around. I don't get a lot of tax deductions. Just, I go out a lot. I spend money, and I pay my taxes. And I've made money in my career. God bless. Thank God. And they chased me out. The unbelievable taxes, the restrictions on your basic God-given rights that they have taken away made me leave. So I guess I'm imaginary, if this imaginary exodus is what Zoran's talking about. AC1, please.
And so for all of the discussion of the imagined exodus that would take place were we to tax the wealthiest New Yorkers by the appropriate amount. I say imagined because before I was a mayor, I was a state legislator, and I was part of an effort to increase taxes on millionaires at that time. We were told the same thing then. And what we find now is that we have more millionaires today than we did at that time, even after having passed that tax. And so for all of that conversation about this imagined exodus, we have to reckon with the very real exodus that we are seeing in the city. An exodus of working class people.
Yeah.
An exodus of those who cannot afford to live here. And for many who work here, who now find their residence in Jersey City or in Connecticut or in Pennsylvania, anywhere else where their dollar can go a little bit further. And we've seen just in a snapshot from 2000 to 2020, the city lost 200,000 of its black residents. That is the cost of inaction. And so that also speaks to the urgency of this conversation and this advocacy, and it is a representation of the fact that while this is a global issue, it is also very much a local issue here in New York City.
Can you, afford to live here? So people are moving to the suburban areas of New York City because they can't afford to live in New York City, and they commute to work. And problem? Is there a problem? Well, I'll tell you what the problem is. You've made it so expensive to commute that people can't even move to the suburbs anymore. And you've made public transportation so dangerous and disgusting that people can't commute that way either. But here's the real issue that I've had with plenty of politicians in New York, and especially Zohran Mamdani in the city as mayor. Whoever said everyone and anyone needs to be able to afford to live in New York City? It's a big city. It's very hard to get goods in and out of New York. The price of everything costs more in New York City because it's an expensive pain in the ass to get a loaf of bread in there, to get beef and orange juice into New York. It's a lot more expensive than it is to get it into the suburbs of New York. And the real estate, as we know, is insanely high. And that used to be, there used to be an equity in saying, oh, I have offices in New York City, or I live on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. There was some equity in that. Now, no one cares. Everyone works from home. And the price of real estate is still through the roof. Rent, a mortgage in a New York City building, if you're buying in New York City, it's unreachable unless you're a multimillionaire. He talks about taxing millionaires. Has anyone seen what a $1 million property looks like in New York? It's a fixer-upper at best. It's a fixer-upper. Everyone thinks, you got your cigar in your mouth, your monocle. Well, here we are, sweetheart. My palatial $1 million mansion. It isn't that. Not anymore. You're talking $10 million for something in New York City. You want to buy something really nice in New York City. $1 million? Nothing. But he talks about $1 million like it's $1 million back in, 40 years ago. But that's what this guy does. He tries to manipulate people, afford to live here for some reason. Do you know anybody that has said, we need to make Beverly Hills affordable? Everyone should be able to live in Beverly Hills. No. You can only live there if you've been lucky enough, skilled enough, talented enough to earn the money it takes to live there. Same with New York. And like I said, you want people to live in the suburbs of New York City, but still come in and work in the city? Then don't tax the hell out of them for driving in with their congestion pricing. Don't make the subways rolling prisons and mental institutions, because that's what they are. These people are moving away, you dummies. There is an exodus. They're not just moving to Jersey. They're not going across the river to Hoboken to take the ferry in every day. They are picking up all their stuff, rerouting themselves far away to start a whole new thing for them and their family, leaving New York in the dust. And you, you're responsible for it. You're the ones doing it. And Zohran Mamdani just put it in warp drive with his socialist agenda. Communist agenda. First 100 days, he's doing victory laps. This guy hasn't accomplished anything. Anything. He tries to talk about his free child care. Do you know how few kids actually are affected by that? And good. It's costing the time. Why should taxpayers pay for other people's kids to go to daycare? And then everything else, the free fast buses. Yeah, right. He don't even talk about that anymore. I saw a speech he was giving, and he's telling people how much he's done in the past 100 days. And he goes, I'm working with Governor Hochul on 7 bus lines to make them faster than they are now. He didn't say free. He threw that free thing right out the old bus window. Now it's just fast. Maybe they'll forget about the free part. He's not even mentioning free anymore. And then his dumb grocery store idea. Oh, my God. A commie-run, state-run grocery store. Because we've all seen how state-run things run so much smoother and efficiently than private enterprise. Right? Sure. I said it before. New York City couldn't even run a horse racing bookie operation. New York City off-track betting went broke. They went bankrupt. A bookie goes bankrupt. You win. You're the house. You're the bookie. You win. How the hell did they lose money as a horse race bookie? But they did. And you think they're going to compete with Gristedes and all these other supermarkets that people go to because the shelves are full? They get what they want. They get customer service. You think you're going to get that at a New York City run? You go to regular stores, you got Godzilla behind the counter. You think at a state-run grocery store, you're going to get, excuse me, how may I help you? Holy jeez. Wear your Kevlar vests before you go in to buy a Jiffy peanut butter. Or is it just Jif? Mandela effect. Unbelievable, huh? But that's Zoran, and people are applauding him. He's done so much his first 100 days. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, more of your calls. And we'll also talk about his thoughts on AOC. He loves AOC, but we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after these words with more of the Anthony Cumia Show. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. We'll get to Larry on Staten Island. Larry, what's up?
Hey, Ant. How are you? Good evening, brother.
Good, good. Doing great.
I want to comment on the first 100 days of the New Testament of Ramadani.
Gotcha.
I was watching the other day, and this is the second time I saw it, Ant. Here's a guy, he's at a rally with 32BJ, a union that is potentially about to strike against the building the building owners.
These are the doormen and maintenance people in residential buildings in New York City.
Correct. And here he is, waving the pom-poms, cheering everybody on. That's not the job of the mayor. The mayor is to be impartial and unbiased with these events. I've never seen this with a mayor. The only time I did see it, maybe with John Lindsay, the transit strike, or maybe with a sanitation strike, they would never take sides. Never take sides for the union versus the organization. I don't know what the heck this guy. I mean, that's from the playbook of Marx.
Yeah, it's a commie strategy. It's a commie way that leaders inject themselves into these negotiations between workers and management. He should absolutely have no say in this, but that's what he's done. He has no shame when it comes to going out and trying to divide.
And the only thing he sees is this 32BJ. They're an apparatchik of the Democratic Party. They have a lot of resources, a lot of boots on the ground, a lot of telephones, and a lot of people out there campaigning for them. That's it.
Yeah. Well, he sees votes. He sees supporters. He never stops campaigning, this guy. Have you noticed? He is constantly campaigning. He doesn't know how to do anything as mayor. First 100 days, you can't see anything that he's actually done. But, yeah, he'll make a lot of videos. He'll smile, that toothy smile of his, and make an Instagram video about how awesome he is and how awesome communism is. But as far as doing something, no. You're just going to get campaigning out of this guy. He's a piece of garbage, Larry. He's garbage, Larry. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. Zoran. So he was doing an interview like he usually does. This guy gets more camera time than any other politician. He's talking about AOC. I guess he likes AOC. Who doesn't? I liked her as a bartender. I liked her dancing on the roof when she was in college in Boston. And she probably would have made an awesome bartender. Like if I would have gone in there. Been like, hey, how you doing, Andy? Just call me Andy. I bet she liked that. And then, shot in a beer. But now she's a disaster. But Mamdani likes her over Chuck Schumer. That's right. AOC has been hinting she would like to take Chuck Schumer's place as a senator. And Mamdani, I think, comments on that, and that would be AC2.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez challenge Senator Schumer for his seat as a part of the generational change that's being discussed?
I will tell you this, that I have had the privilege of being represented by Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, and it was an honor to have that be my experience. Now it's an honor to work with her as an incredible congresswoman, and I'm excited to see whatever it is that she decides to do next. I don't think she's made a decision as yet, but we're very proud of her here in New York City.
Do you have any thoughts about this debate over generational change? Is it time for a younger generation of politicians in the Democratic Party?
I think it's time for a party that reflects the urgency that we're seeing across this country in terms of hunger, frankly, that is not as much tied just to age, but to vision. You know, we know very well what we oppose. What are we for? That is a question that I think we have to be able to answer. What are we fighting for? It was not just enough in this mayoral campaign to say that I wasn't like other mayoral candidates. We had to always answer the question of New Yorkers, what will we deliver for them? And I really think that that is at the heart of the question for our party. And I'll be honest with you, when you look back at the history books of our party, 100 years ago, we had a very clear vision of what we were fighting for. And it is sad that for too many Americans, when they want to look for ambition in the Democratic Party, they have to turn to a history book.
What are we fighting for? That's what he wants? First of all, he doesn't answer the question. You know, the age thing. Well, no, it's a vision. It's more of a vision thing. So cataract's bad. So that's old. Old people out, young people in. Is that what you're trying to say? Are you trying to answer the question? Of course not. And then he talks about we got to show what we're fighting for, what the Democrat Party is for, instead of what we're against. We've seen what you're for. Debauchery. Crime. You're for criminals. You're against law enforcement. We've seen it. You're for men competing against women and beating the crap out of them on various sport fields or courts. We've seen it. That's what you're for. That's why no one likes you, except the degenerates that vote for you. And unfortunately, there are certain pockets of them in the big cities. Doesn't it seem that way? Everyone else in this country looks at the voters in big cities when they elect people like Zohran Mamdani or Brandon Johnson, and they go, what the hell is happening there? Do they see what's going on? Do they hear it? Do they see that they're for men, disgusting, degenerate men, scantily clad as women, walking into bathrooms with your daughters? That's a good thing? Yeah, we're for that. We got to let people know that's what we're for. And they've never denied it. They don't deny that. They're proud of it. And that's what we get. And they vote for these people. That Mayor Wu up there in Boston, another one, giving away between, I think it was $100 and $500 federally or state-funded gym and spa outings to illegals. An illegal can go up and they want a little spa day. Oh, it's so strenuous being financed by the federal and state government, getting a room in a hotel and clothes and food and money, credit cards. So you might need a rub down. You might need a little spa day. And there's Woo giving these things out in Boston to illegals. What? That's what we're for. Is that what you're talking about, Zoran? When you got to get the message out to the people what you're for? We've got it. We've got it loud and clear. That's why Kamala Harris was left in the dust. Because when you take the whole country into consideration, thank God at this moment, or at least when the last election was, I don't even know day to day, at least when that happened, there was enough common sense in the country to not vote in Kamala Harris. Oh, you won't get that in Chicago or New York or L.A. Hell no. But thank God for the time being, the country isn't as bat crap crazy as some of these cities. Because, man, if Kamala Harris was in there, oh, you see occasionally she peeks her head out from under that rock, and you get to hear her speak and go, everyone just goes, thank God she did not win. This idiot. Well, the most qualified woman to ever run for president. The most qualified anyone, Obama said. Not even just woman. The most qualified person to ever run for the presidency of the United States. I cannot say it without chuckling. I just cannot. It's crazy. And I think Dave from, where are you, Oregon?
Oregon, sir. A few pockets of the resistance.
I hear you. Up there,
man,
boy, you got your work cut out for you.
Every middle-aged lesbian white woman in politics seems to be here. It's definitely a stronghold, and it's very frightening. Hey, first of all, Ant, I love you. Want to say how much I love Dally and your relationship with that unbelievable. I am such a fan of those Belgians.
Belgian Malinois. He
School,
bit me on the hand the other day when I was trying to keep him in the door. He just chomps down on me, but that's the kind of dog they are. What are you going to do? I love him. I love the little bastard.
Yeah, because for so many years, like, there's no way Ann will ever get a dog. And to see you with him now, just heart melting. But
I'm
they
settling
are just
down. By the time I'm 105, I might actually want a kid, Dave. So you want to talk about liberal women and control?
It's really unbelievable because every problem we have. Oh, before that, 100% right. When you have two political parties left over, it is all about power. It is all about settling scores, and we're the little guy, and that's the I mean, obviously the Democrats are off the rails lunatics, but this is where we are. But the biggest problem in society is these liberal women and the way that the Democratic propaganda mind virus infects them and what they get out of it. And that
so easily manipulated, Dave. They're so easily manipulated by the media, by television shows, by everything, politicians speaking, and they're driven by emotion, 100%. You could lay out facts right in front of their dumb faces, and they will look at it, read it, and not understand because they can't get their emotions out of the way. And that is a hell of a way to try to govern when they're in positions of leadership or run a damn household.
Yeah, I remember you made such a good point about them always being the suckers for the cult leaders and the slippery snake oil salesmen. And if you look back, them getting the right to vote and getting into politics, what else is worse? That is the dawn of the liberal party as we know it.
You could really look at history and see when things really started going south. And look, I don't know, it sounds misogynistic, it sounds bigoted, whatever you want to call it, but I don't know. I've seen enough to say, a little too much emotion in your vote. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Dave, thank you so much for the call, my friend. Oregon. Oof. I thought I stayed in New York a long time. If I was ever to be put in Oregon for any reason, it would be like the Great Escape. I would tunnel my way out. That whole Pacific Northwest thing, go screw. I got no ambition to even visit. You know, there are 2 states in the Union. 2 states I have never been to. Been to every other single state. Washington State and Oregon. Never been. Every single other state I've been to. And Hawaii, not Alaska. But, you know, contiguous. And I have no want or need or ambition to hump my ass up to the Pacific Northwest. Oh, the trees are beautiful. I got trees out back. I got trees, my whole yard, bunch of trees. I'll look at that. I'll imagine they're giant. And some maniacal mental patient isn't yelling at me as I'm looking at the tree. Please. Don't need it. Mike Comack, Long Island, New York.
Yes,
What's up, Mike?
Yes, so you mentioned about OTB going out of business.
Yeah.
I'll tell
New
you
York
what that
City.
happened. Because you had David Dinkins as the mayor, who fired top executives and put Hazel Dukes. Remember Hazel Dukes?
His whole administration was a mess.
She came in and fired all the top Jewish executives, replaced them with DEI hires back then.
Yep.
And guess what happened? The first bookie never go out of business.
First bookie ever to go out of business. If New York was a bookie that lost that much money, it would have had its legs broken. New York would have been there with broken legs, broken arms. Oh my God. Hey, Mike, Comac Motor Inn, the White Castle, they took it down?
They're rebuilding it. It's coming back in a smaller version, but White Castle's coming back, and so all the prostitutes from the Comac Motor Inn.
Exactly. Okay. Just checking in. How is it? What is it like to be known for a pretty much a sex hotel and a burger place that blows up your insides when you get home? And Rosie O'Donnell. Sorry, forgot Rosie O'Donnell's from Comac too. All right, Mike.
Don't remind me.
I appreciate the call, my friend. Yeah. Comac. The Comac Motor Inn. You'd see the commercials for it at night on TV on Long Island, and it would be embarrassing. I'd be like 9 years old, and a commercial would come on, and my mom's in the room, and I knew what it was about. You know, my brother and older friends told me what Comac Motor Inn was, and I'd get all embarrassed. Like I didn't want to look around the room. I don't know. So embarrassing. Not as embarrassing as going to see Saturday Night Fever with my mother and my grandmother. That was embarrassing. Oh, my God. When the scene came of the girl in the back of the car with John Travolta and everyone. Look at you now. You're proud of yourself, all right? All right? I'm bored with it, okay? I just want to go dance down at the disco, all right? And then she's, getting ravaged in the back of the car. And I'm looking, and there's my grandma. How am I supposed to, hey, Grandma, wasn't that movie awesome? Remember when that girl was just getting... But I digress. Just a tad. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Now I got to be strategic in what I do because I'm coming up on a break. I want to talk about the mayor of Chicago, about these teen mobs. I'll preface it, and then we'll play the clip after we come back from break. Mayor Brandon Johnson is the mayor of Chicago. Everyone knows this. I do a lot of breaks on this guy because he just stuns me. I'm stunned at this guy's focus, his unbelievable focus on his race and on not doing what needs to be done because of his skin color and the skin color of I guess the people that he knows he would have to do something about, like these gangs these teen takeovers, they call them. And I was saying, we saw one in New York. We never really saw these things in New York City because usually the mayor and the police department would keep that in check. But under Mamdani, it's popped up in his first 100 days. We got the road warrior, flames, cars doing donuts, and no one seems to care. No one really, there was outrage by the neighbors, but what the hell was the mayor going to do about it? The police, oh yeah, arrest those people, tow their cars, confiscate. They're all what he considers minorities and people of color like himself. So he won't do anything. He'll just let it happen. And that is what we see in this Brandon Johnson. He is unbelievable in his lack of giving the people of Chicago the safety that they're paying for. They pay their taxes. You think you want to see police out there doing their job. He won't allow them. When we get back, we'll talk about Brandon and the teen mobs in Chicago. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and I was just listening to myself talk about FanDuel. FanDuel Predicts. If you don't know what this is, you got to check it out because it's not just betting on sports. You can bet on sports. The playoffs are happening. You know that. What, do the Knicks beat the Hawks? Is that I'm not very interested in basketball, but I do know the Knicks beat the Hawks. You could bet on that, but people go, oh, sports betting. Yeah, I do that, or I've done that. With FanDuel Predicts, you can bet on anything that's happening or not happening. You try to predict what is going to happen. Is gold going up? Who's going to win? But then there's side bets too. Because I know the Lakers beat the Rockets last night. Can you bet if LeBron is going to do some embarrassing flop on the floor? Last night, he grabbed his head. Someone brushed the back of his head. I mean, gently brushed the back of his head. He grabbed it like he was JFK in Dallas. You would have thought this guy was having a cerebral hemorrhage. So I would like to be able to see if FanDuel Predicts, I could say, yes, LeBron will take a flop on the floor. But if you don't know what the prediction market is, that's what it is. You can predict what's going to happen, and you don't just go in there blind. You can look at what's going to happen and see, oh, yeah, a hell of a lot of people are betting that that's going to happen. And then you get right on board with that, or you could go against the consensus, whatever you want to do. And it's not just sports, like I said. That's a part a lot of people miss. You can predict spreads, total points, game-winning moments, all those prop bets and things like that. And it's a lot more fun. It makes things a hell of a lot more interesting. I could not ever watch basketball if I didn't have something going on FanDuel Predicts. So, offered by FanDuel Predicts, Market, LLC, a registered futures commission, merchant, 18+. Bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. You get a bonus. Just sign up. You get yourself a bonus. What are you doing? Manage your activity with our customer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms. Thank you, FanDuel Predicts. Yeah, that LeBron. I know he's got quite the reputation, but does he know there's video? Does he know we see that he's falling on the floor? Like, he yells in pain. You should not be playing a man's sport, even though I put basketball at the bottom rung of a man's sport. If you're going to scream when someone touches you or flop on the ground if someone brushes your sneaker, ugh, it really is embarrassing. Quite embarrassing. Let me see how much time I got. Okay, we'll come back with your calls after the top of the hour. But right now I want to talk about gamers for air traffic control. I'm not kidding. This is the state of affairs that we are in right now. they are looking for air traffic control. We don't have enough. We've seen accidents, incidents, things happen. We've gotten lucky in some cases because the disasters that could have happened with airliners and trucks on the runway. So they're looking for air traffic controllers. So it seems that they put out 12,000 applications in 24 hours, the most in one day since the FAA was created 68 years ago. And the campaign is to recruit gamers, people that play video games, to become air traffic controllers. It's record-breaking. Now, I am kind of known. I am not in the demographic, but I've never stopped playing video games. I've gone from Pong back in the 70s and never stopped. As a matter of fact, tonight I will probably log in for a while and play Battlefield 6 with some of my buddies. I just never stopped. One thing I have noticed is that the lobbies, the rooms that they call them, the virtual places you go in where you meet up with people and you get to talk to the people you're competing against, I could not imagine that dialogue going between an air traffic controller and a pilot. It is amongst the most vulgar, racist, misogynistic, homophobic stuff you'll ever hear. Now, I would gather they want to do this because of maybe good hand-eye coordination, communication skills, if you're saying horrific things to people, the ability to see something and react with your hands and your voice, and that might be good. That might work out. But a lot of these guys that play games, they're basement dwellers. I don't think they work and play well with actual people in the real world, but maybe I'm just being biased toward them. I don't think so because, like I said, I've spoken with them and heard what they have to say in a room full of other people, and it isn't very pleasant. But who am I? Who am I to say who would make the best air traffic controller? And a record number of them have applied. So maybe coming to a airport tower near you, people calling women the B word, dropping the N-bomb, and the F word. We'll be back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thanks for hanging with us on this wonderful Sunday evening. And quickly, I guess the Mets are 0-11 since Mr. and Mrs. Met embraced Mayor Zoran Mamdani at Citi Field. And, of course, morning man at 77 WABC, Sid Rosenberg, he threw a fit about the whole thing. Said he's done with the Mets, became a Yankees fan. And since then, the Mets 0-11 since Mr. and Mrs. Met, the big-headed, baseball-headed mascots, showed their affection for Mayor Mamdani. So who knows? Who knows? Interesting indeed. Mayor Brandon Johnson from Chicago. He's been asked many times by members of the press, what the hell are you going to do about the mobs, the teen mobs, the teen takeovers, the gangs? And he answers, no, don't call them that. They are large gatherings. He's more interested in the semantics than what's actually happening in Chicago. And he was asked again about this epidemic of literally hundreds of young people in Chicago running around, vandalizing, assaulting people, and even gunfire in the mix. He's asked again And what is his answer? Something that we can take away and say, hey, at least he's really trying to do something. This is AC4.
Despite you asking the adults to be accountable for their children, the youth flash mobs continue to test your defunded policing policy. How serious a threat to life, limb, and property do other so-called teen trends have to pose before your administration shifts from asking to compelling the participating youth and their adults to be accountable for those disturbances of the peace?
Did you always listen to your parents? No, no. Now, if any of you have lived a perfect life and you have never disobeyed your parent, you have a free pass to get to those pearly gates. You know this is happening all over the world right now. All over the world. I've said repeatedly that I'm concerned about the dangerous and reckless behavior. Don't mischaracterize what I am saying as parent and as mayor. It is going to take all of us. And check this out. People are stepping up. Did you witness the students at Kenwood Academy who are holding their peers accountable? Did you hear the principal from Kenwood Academy? Did you see the parents actually step out in Hyde Park? And there were some kids who still showed up even though parents were out there. So we are taking this full force of government approach. So I am calling on all parents, community leaders, business leaders to stand together to make sure that we are creating opportunities for young people, and that if they step outside the bounds of our expectations, that we do hold them accountable.
Bounds of expectations. Exactly. How about bounds of the law? Bounds of expectations. This guy wants everyone, the parents and the teachers and the schools, to try to tell the kids that it's beyond that. If you had parents who were parenting properly, there wouldn't be these hundreds of delinquents and thugs running around your city, destroying, looting, assaulting, and sometimes killing people. That isn't something where Ward Cleaver or Mr. Brady has to pull their kids in and go, hey, kids, now don't you go out there and break windows and steal stuff. And their parents are non-existent. That's what's happening. There's no discipline. Discipline. You have a police department. There needs to be consequences. See, that's what it is. Not a talking to by the principal of a school. Consequences. You break the law, which they're doing. You pay the consequences. A huge fine, perhaps, jail time, whatever, probation. He don't want to do that. Again, you have a mayor of a major city that does not want to do what needs to be done because he doesn't want to seem like he's with the other side. You know, the evil white people side. And what does that even mean? Law and order? Is there a race on law and order? Is that it? Is law and order white and criminality is black? Is that it, Mayor? Is that why you don't want to help solve the problem by doing what needs to be done? He don't want, because they'll call him a Tom, or they'll call him so many other words. It's not bad enough that they got these mobs of thugs running around at night, on the weekends especially, and once it gets warmer, woofa. It's not bad enough. But if anyone says anything about it, they are considered, going against their race. So you got this guy who's been a proven bigot, and he doesn't want to say or do anything really. Oh, parents need to talk to their kids. Like it's a sitcom from the 60s. Just talk to your kids. You're beyond that, dummy. They're rampaging your city. And every weekend when this happens, the bodies pile up too. What is that? A little talk from the parents about that too? This isn't, shoplifting a magazine from a store and the parent has to have a little conversation with the child. These are hardcore young people that'll fight at the drop of a hat, shoot guns at the first sign of disrespect, and not listen to anybody. They laugh at you. Everyone's laughing at you. They are. The rest of the country is. Anyone who has respect for law and order, they're laughing at you. But this is what you get in the big cities. And it doesn't get any better. It gets worse. And, I guess he'll be looked at as a fine, upstanding guy who didn't go against his race. Again, as the bodies of minority kids stack up in Chicago, well, at least I didn't do anything where they would have said that I was a Tom, as kids die every weekend in Chicago. Good job there. Good job, Brandon. Brandon Johnson. There he goes. Ilhan Omar, this is fantastic. How the hell is this not being investigated? How is this not at the top of the list of what should be investigated? You know, a bunch of people were giving her flack because she is a congresswoman. She was making no money, making the bare minimum. And then all of a sudden her net worth went up to $30 million. And everyone was asking. She was being trailed in the hallways and out by her car. And independent journalists and even some network people were asking her, how did you guys get up to a $30 million net worth from just $100,000 or so a couple of years ago? And never an answer. Never got an answer. Well, my husband is a consultant. Oh, what's he consult? Stuff that you're in charge of? That seems a little shady. So Ilhan Omar, they recalculated her net worth. And from $30 million, what would you think? Like $25 million? You could probably squeeze it down at that, $25 million. $20 million maybe? There was some huge errors. We apologize. We are not worth $30 million, though. We are only worth $20 million. Nope. $95,000. They are trying to convince you. They are trying to make you believe that they went from a net worth of $30 million, first from a net worth of maybe 100 and something thousand, up to $30 million, and now they're back down to $95,000 of net worth, her and her husband. And how did this happen? They said it was a clerical error, some error that their accountant made. Can I please have this guy's number? I would love this accountant. And she didn't say anything about it. Wouldn't you think you'd say, hey, how are you worth $30 million only a couple of years after you were worth $100,000? Don't you think she turned around and go, what? Where did you see that? Where am I worth $30 million? Because I'll tell you, I've never seen it. But no, she never said a peep. She ran away from the question. She had to know. You don't not know you're worth $30 million. And then they bring it down to $95,000. Please, can we grab a magnifying glass and some Vaseline and really get a good look at what's going on in the Ilhan Omar family, incestual family? Can we just do that? Because that's a red flag. I would call that a red flag. The IRS alone, not even some ethics or a criminal investigation on her, where this income came from and then mysteriously disappeared again, too. The IRS. If you had a $30 million net worth and you thought it was true, wouldn't you have had to pay taxes on that? Wouldn't that have had some effect on you saying, I only see $95,000 in our account, but we're paying on $30 million? We're paying taxes on $30 mil? So just another thing that shows how corrupt and criminal this woman is, and the protection she has. That astounds me. the suit of armor she has against being investigated. All the shenanigans going on up there in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and nothing. She's the Teflon dummy. All right, don't go anywhere. We're back in a moment with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And just going through X, Anthony Cumia on X, if you want to get in touch with me on social media. I would appreciate it. And I'm looking at, this is going insanely viral. It's astronaut Reed Wiseman, and he took an iPhone video of the Earth setting behind the moon when the Artemis 2 capsule went around the backside of the moon, and the Earth is setting much like the sun would set on Earth. It's the Earth setting on the moon through an iPhone. He's just videoing it stock. He's got 8 times zoom on through the phone. It's a stock iPhone, and it is amazing. It's an amazing video, but it's also amazing to think of the technology we have these days. In our pockets, we're holding the same camera, the same ability to send this picture and look at it, and just, it's an amazing video. And we do live in some amazing technological times. I feel sorry for the people that don't believe in space. It sounds weird to say, don't believe in space. There are people that actually don't believe that we've ever left the Earth in anything, even unmanned, just a satellite. They don't believe in satellites. I don't understand that, because you got GPS in your car, you got your phone, you got satellite signals that come down and give you television and internet and whatnot. They don't believe in that, and they certainly don't believe that people have ever traveled off of the planet and up into what is considered near-Earth orbit or outer space near the moon. And I feel bad for them. They spend so much time and energy. And when I look at this video, it gives me a kind of a feeling of accomplishment as human beings. It's beautiful. It's pleasant to look at. And you're missing out on that because you want to hold on to these conspiracies that never make sense. I mean, never make sense. I was reading some people's posts about the Artemis re-entry to Earth, to splash down. And all of the posts were about how everything that happened was impossible. That couldn't happen because the capsule would have burnt up. The capsule's made of aluminum. How could it handle 5,000 degree heat from the re-entry? And all you have to do is read. And it makes sense. It's not, you're not reading this unbelievable propaganda. You're reading science. You're reading things that have happened many, many times over the course of decades now, as far as the space program of this country and many other countries go. And some people actually believe when the Artemis was coming through the atmosphere, they went from, I think it was 75,000 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour in 7 seconds. And they go, how did the people survive? And I put my arms up. I go, you're so stupid. That would be fatal to everything. Everything would come apart at the seams. And how did the capsule not burn up? There's a heat shield. The heat shield burns away as they come through the atmosphere. Only on the bottom part, the heat shield directly in line with the flight through the atmosphere, does that spot on the heat shield get that hot. The rest of the capsule doesn't. And then once they get through the atmosphere into the cool air, they're traveling thousands of miles. That's another one I heard. Why isn't there any steam? If there's 5,000 degrees through the atmosphere, how come when they splash down in the water, there's no steam? Because they traveled from the Indian Ocean to the California coast over the Pacific. That's how far they traveled to cool off a bit. And they can't understand heat being taken away by a heat shield. And everything is this negative statement on how it couldn't have happened with no proof being offered, by the way. Just either blatant lies or really they're misinformed on how this stuff works. But I've loved the space program my whole life. I watch every launch and stuff like this, the manned flights like around the moon with Artemis 2. I'm fascinated by it. And I'm very knowledgeable on what they're doing. So when you hear people that just want to argue a conspiracy online and they're talking out of their bottom end, it's funny. It's funny, but I feel bad. I feel like you're missing out on a lot of amazing stuff that you could be. It might actually get you to do a little more research and see that these things are actually happening. There are amazing things going on. Amazing things going on these days. And one of them, of course, is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders. I love this. Oh, I wish I had more time. Maybe I'll do something else and then come back to Bernie. Yeah, because the Bernie thing, I need more time. He talks about robots, and it's hilarious. Well, anchor babies. I talk about that a lot. I do despise an anchor baby. The idea that you could just come to this country pregnant and drop off a kid and you're a resident. Your kid's a resident. You have to take care of them till they're 18, so you're a resident. That's how this works. And the second Donald Trump said maybe we should do away with this, and he signed an EO getting away, and then the Supreme Court has to argue it. Every liberal Democrat thinks it's some horrible racist thing to do. 10% of births in the U.S., I think this was 2023, but you have to think it probably didn't go up or down very much. Maybe in the past year or so under Donald Trump it went down. I hope it did. But during the Biden administration and up until Trump, maybe, when I see those numbers, I'll know for sure. But anchor babies, 10% of the births in the U.S., not of foreign births, illegal births, 10% of all births in the U.S. were anchor babies. Women that flew here pregnant or got pregnant while they were here, a lot of them illegally. But there are some people that get temporary visas. There was recently a woman from Jamaica who was on a flight to JFK, and she had a baby on the plane. She went into labor. It wasn't premature. She got on a plane 9 months pregnant, knowing that she wanted to go from Jamaica to the United States to have a baby so that baby would be a citizen and she could reap the rewards of being the mother of an anchor baby. Oh, the benefits, the welfare, the housing, oh, the coddling, everything. And she dumped her kid, and now she's a resident of the United States. But the idea that during the ass end of the Biden administration, 10% of every baby that was born, 10% of every baby, what's that, a leg? No, 10% of all the babies born in the U.S. were anchor babies. And they had some big problem that Donald Trump wanted to get rid of this. And I've read the amendment to the Constitution. It has nothing to do with foreigners purposefully coming here to this country to dump off a kid and become an American citizen. Once again, the Constitution was bastardized, twisted and turned so that they could get what they wanted, which is illegals, babies of illegals, more people that would grow up to be wonderful Democrat voters. It's the only reason you would not have a problem with this. I cannot think of one other reason. But that's how they do. Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, the Anthony Cumia Show. Let's go right to Lou out there on the Isle of Long. Lou, what's up, my friend?
Parental rules. At the age of 18, I had to be home by 11 p.m. or my father would take my car keys. A car that I bought, insured, maintained. Right. You're living here, you're home at 11. That's it. And I'll tell you what, it kept me in a lot of trouble. Kept me out of a lot of trouble.
That's all you thought about was whenever you wanted to do something and it was a little dodgy, all you thought about was, how is this going to affect me when I get home? How will this affect me if my parents find out? And we were just talking, I was talking before about Chicago and these mobs of people that go out, hundreds of them, and they're all under 18, and they're wreaking havoc. There's no consideration for what will my parents think? It doesn't happen. That's why it's out of control, Lou.
Oh, man, all my father had to do was look at me. He had these steel blue eyes, and I knew I was in trouble.
You knew, right?
Like,
and it was terrible. You knew. And before it, if you knew that they found out you did something, but you hadn't confronted them with it yet, or they haven't confronted you, that was worse. A nightmare. You were just sitting there, your stomach's in knots. You felt like impending doom.
But you know what? It made me a better person.
It does.
I had to abide by rules.
Of course. I took, you reminded me of a story. I took my pickup truck and Animal House, a little movie called Animal House had just come out.
Yeah,
and I didn't have insurance on my vehicle. And my mom told me, don't you drive that truck. Don't you drive that truck. Doesn't have insurance on it till next week. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it. And then my buddies, hey, let's go to the movies. Let's see Animal House. And I got talked into it, loaded them up, went to the movies. Nothing happened. I didn't get into an accident or anything. But when I got home, apparently one of my mom's friends or my aunt or someone saw my truck, saw me driving it, and she knew. And I was done. I was done, man. I remember that. And just the fact that I remember it shows how effective that was.
Right. It's etched in your memory.
Yeah,
I mean, you
that was
broke the
not
law
good.
and you got away with it, but you still knew it was wrong.
Right. I love it. Lou, thank you, man. Yeah. It's always cool talking. And I know most people are alike all over the country, especially if you were in the same demographic at the same time, the same year. But people from Long Island, there is just a thing. We all know exactly what each other went through at our age in a certain year, the 70s or the 80s. Yeah, it's probably that way everywhere, but Long Island, since it's where I'm from, I have an affinity for Long Islanders. That's how it works. Bernie Sanders. Bernie, he's been talking about AI. Yeah, arthritic inflammation? No. Artificial intelligence. The fact that this guy is even talking about something I'm sure he has no grasp of. I'm sure he cannot understand what AI is. But he's got a bunch of people, and they feel that their jobs are going to be threatened by AI. And he is going to be there to tell those people, don't worry, I'm fighting for you. For what? What are you going to do, Bernie? It's technology. It's advancing. It's the future. Was there a Bernie Sanders that showed up when automobiles were invented to represent the blacksmiths and the horseshoers, farriers? Is that what they're called? And say, no, we do not want automobiles. The shoes must go on the horses because the people need to ride the horses. And automobiles, we will stop producing or driving automobiles until they realize you need horseshoes. And this is what he's doing now. AI is what it is. Pandora's out of the box. There's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube, as they say. But, he's going to pander. Either he's really ignorant as to what AI is and the fact that technology is always advancing and it costs people their jobs, but in return, it creates jobs in other sectors, in brand new sectors that weren't even imagined before. But he's Bernie, and he's going to be the socialist, and I'm all for the workers. And here he is. Let me see. I got a couple of clips here from him. This is him. Oh, yeah, AC5.
The experts are telling us that AI and robotics is going to have a huge impact on every worker in America.
As Senator Sanders says, this is the most fundamental change that has happened in society, certainly in my lifetime, and maybe in all of history. You would think that the greatest country of the world would stop and
Drama
say,
queen.
what do we do about this? Not just let 5 or 10 gazillionaires have carte blanche to do whatever they want. We would say, what should we do in society?
It's really simple. Will you stand with workers in this AI future, or will you let big tech and the billionaires upend our jobs, our livelihoods, our rights, and our dignity?
So here's what I know. AI will not and AI cannot replace the dedication of those who have answered the call to become educators. Nor
I don't know about that,
will
lady.
it replace our professional expertise.
I want to be clear about this. AI will either work for the working class or it will not work at all. That is the ultimatum. The AI transition is about two simple questions. How much value does our labor create? And the second question is who benefits?
We have the humanity. This is the moment to do it. Senator Sanders is completely right about putting a moratorium on the building of the data centers. And that is not about stopping progress of building big buildings.
Yes,
that
it
is
is
about saying that we're not going to take one step forward until the regulation is in place. And unless that regulation is in place, then AI is not working for any of us, and we're going to stop working until AI works for us.
And yes, these big tech guys have unlimited amounts of money and have extraordinary power. But I have absolute confidence that when we stand together, we are going to beat them, and we're going to use these technologies to improve life for all people rather than making billionaires even wealthier. Thank you all so much for being here.
Do they understand how this stuff works? Have they looked at history? They talk about history, and have they looked at history and seen that with every big step up in technology, jobs are left in the dust and new ones are created? And them saying they're going to hold up AI, if AI doesn't work for everyone, it'll work for no one. You can't do that. First of all, it's impossible. Second of all, it would be unethical. It's not the right thing to do. You have to let these things fly. They don't like it because it's kind of nipping at the heels of their jobs. Teachers, that girl brought up educators. We will not have AI taking over the jobs of our dedicated educators. That's going to be the first job to go. AI can teach. It can teach without an agenda. It probably won't. It'll probably be the agenda of whatever entity puts it in a classroom. But as an assistant, I think it works very well. If you have a qualified teacher, that isn't some freak of nature at the front of your classroom. But, just like the computer has elevated the classroom with that technology and helped the teacher to educate the children, AI will be the same thing. And there will be some people that just will not be needed anymore. Customer service is already a thing of the past. Is it a good thing? I don't think so. I'll tell you one thing, though. When I get AI on a phone call to a company that I need customer service from, it definitely gives me more answers than I got from, please press number 8 if you're looking for, or stay on the line for a customer service representative. We apologize for the wait time. Like, I'd rather have AI go, hey, how can I help you? Look, I'm being all mechanical. How can I help you? It doesn't even do that. It sounds very natural. How can I help you? And then you voice your problem, and it reaches into the database of Earth forever, and it tries to give you an answer. And it's a hell of a lot better than, did you unplug it? Did you plug it back in? So, I'm sorry. Learn to prompt. Remember learn to code? When everyone's saying learn to code, all these jobs are being given to techs and computer techs. And so learn to code. Now it's learn to prompt. Learn to create something that AI can do, and then put that in place of a few thousand human beings. See how that works out for you. That wasn't it. Bernie also had a comment, and this cracked me up. Bernie's, he's no kid, that's for sure. And when he talks about futuristic technology, it always makes me laugh. But he's talking about robots in this next clip, and he says, and it's something I've joked about forever. He says robot. If you watch The Twilight Zone, Rod Serling would be like, a simple robot. And you're like, robot? It's a robot, not a robot. But Bernie is so old and out of touch with tech, he calls it a robot. Let's listen to Bernie talk about the danger of the robots.
And the reality is that the AI oligarchs, and let's be clear, who is pushing? You'll know who's pushing these technologies? The richest people on earth. Mr. Musk, Mr. Zuckerberg, Mr. Bezos, Mr. Ellison, and others. And what they want to do is replace human workers. Why? If I have a robot and it costs me $30,000, $20,000 for a robot, and that robot works 24 hours a day, doesn't get a salary, doesn't get a vacation, doesn't get sick, man, what a good investment. I've cut my quote-unquote labor cost probably by 90%. What do I need, human beings? So the issue that we're dealing with today is some of us are old-fashioned, and we believe in human beings, and the American people do as well.
How do you know? Robots. roll your butt gently down the stream. Robots. Yeah, and who do you think's doing this? The richest people in the world. Yeah. Who do you think has the money to build robots? And these giant centers with graphics cards spinning, thousands of them at a time. Who's got that pocket change, Bernie? Are you saying that just because they're wealthy, that this technology shouldn't exist or be utilized? It's inevitable. But the fact that they're rich isn't that they're these evil Bond villains looking to take away humans' jobs with their robots. You got to be a billionaire to build robots. Robots. I love this guy. But, I don't see a lot of Somali robots. or AI centers. It just ain't happening. Yeah, it takes a lot of money. What do you think? All of the, Henry Ford back in the day, he was virtually a billionaire. Back then, being a multimillionaire was like the billionaires are today with inflation and all. But what do you expect? Some little guy down the street to pump out Model Ts at an incredible rate? It takes very wealthy people to do amazing things. You think Elon Musk, if he didn't have billions of dollars, could be launching rockets into the space that doesn't exist if you're stupid? He's putting all of the he's concentrating on the fact that very wealthy people are doing these things. And that because they're wealthy, they don't care about the worker. And the fact that some of these workers are going to have their jobs eliminated because of these amazing technologies that these billionaires have given us. That doesn't mean the billionaire's intention was to eliminate your stupid job. And I'm saying stupid job because if AI can do it, what are you going to do? Until I can be cloned, I'm pretty good. I think I'm set. Even with AI, I'm kind of unique in what I do. You want to jack up people's minimum wage to $30 an hour to do the simplest of tasks. Of course a robot is going to do better. He gave the greatest sales pitch for robots. Oh, it doesn't get sick. It doesn't take days off. It doesn't want to raise. And then he didn't have anything after that to say in response of how that isn't the greatest thing ever. That is great. As a business owner, an employer, that sounds fantastic. I want a whole warehouse of robots. But he needs votes, so he's got to make it seem like he's for the people, and he's old and doesn't understand the technology, and blah-de-blah-de-blah-blah. That's how it works. The new comes in, the old goes out. The village smithy isn't needed anymore. Maybe at a Renaissance fair gig. All the people that Bernie's talking to, they could all go to whatever the Renaissance fair will be in the future. They could show them teaching a classroom. This is what it was like. We used to go into a classroom and a person at the front of the room would actually... But now AI does it. We take it for granted, don't we? Yeah, we do. We do. But that's progress. Anyone who's ever tried to hold back progress, they've looked stupid in the eyes of history because there's just no doing it. Human beings, for how much you want to be a human and not take this guy's job away, and there are instincts in human beings, in some of us, that want to branch out, explore, invent, make things better, easier, build amazing innovations like robots. And to try to hold that back, go try to sweep the tide back. Grab a broom and try to sweep the tide back, because that's exactly what you're trying to do. It's not easy for the people that it will affect, but it will affect them, and it is affecting them. You know how many Indian call centers have been put out of work? Hello, my name is Steve. May I help you? You're like, you're not Steve. Just stop. I'd rather hear AI guy. And you could ask him dumb questions. How's the weather where you are? Partly sunny with a high temperature of 85. Are you a robot? Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and the Chris Murphy That's what I wanted to talk about. Chris Murphy, a sitting senator, he's over there. What are they doing over in Barcelona, Spain? They take these trips, and they're not. It doesn't even matter. Some mayors are over there and governors. What are you doing? It's a trip to Barcelona, and I'm sure they're living it up. That's what these politicians do on your dime. Look what Swalwell's been doing all these years. Partying, girls, booze, hotel rooms, yachts, his buddies, all on our dime. And we'll see what happens to him. I predict nothing. Yes, even with the allegations of the big R word with women, I predict nothing will happen to Eric Swalwell. They just have this Teflon coating, all these politicians. Once in a blue moon, one of them has to take a real fall. But for the most part, they just go, it's your time to leave. We need a sacrificial lamb. Don't worry. You got your golden parachute. You got this. You got that. And we'll leave you alone after you leave. It's okay. So they don't really have to answer for anything. It's pathetic. But Chris Murphy is a sitting senator. And you go over. There used to be a time when politicians knew you never went overseas and badmouthed the president or the country. You just didn't do it. It wasn't in any document. It wasn't on any written papyrus or parchment from the oldie days. It was just known. Out of respect, you did not go to other countries and crap talk your country or your leader. If you got problems, you come back to this country and you yell at each other. But Chris Murphy, don't matter to him. He went to this meeting in Barcelona. And he decided to spout off about Trump and the United States. And this is not a good look. Let's listen to Chris Murphy.
Want to bring you greetings as well from a nation that is in crisis. I'm not going to sugarcoat the gravity of what we face right now in the United States. This is the most significant threat to American democracy since the Civil War.
Screw off.
Donald Trump in our country is trying to end our democracy. We are not on the verge of a totalitarian takeover. We are in the middle of it. He is trying to seize control of our courts, of our law enforcement, of our media, of our elections. His goal is oligarchic capture.
That oligarchy word. Oligarchic. Oligarchy. First of all, again, worst dictator ever. Worst destroyer of democracy ever. He should have plucked this guy right off from the podium. One of Trump's minion, if he's this horrible dictator, he should have taken this guy right from the podium and thrown him in a van, and you don't see him no more. But he's able to say things. He's able to badmouth the United States of America. He's able to do that in Barcelona with impunity. Nothing can happen to him. They talk about how awful America is, how democracy's crumbling, how we're not heading toward a dictatorship. We're in one. Where is it? Because I'd love to see something shut these morons up. Wouldn't that be great? They could mouth off with impunity about the dictatorship we're living under. And then he talks to all of them like, oh, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, people. America, we got a problem. If it's a plan to keep people from their countries from coming here, then hats off. But other than that, you shouldn't be bad-mouthing your country and your president as a sitting senator when you go overseas. It's disgusting, this guy. And then the other thing, Bruce Blakeman, he's running for governor of New York, the Republican candidate for governor of New York. And he's talking about pardoning Sergeant Duran, Eric Duran, who was sentenced to 3 to 9 years for throwing a cooler at a piece of filth, who happened to fall off his little scooter while he's running from drug charges and died. And this officer, who just was going to work, doing his job as a NYPD cop, gets 3 to 9 years jail time. So here's Bruce Blakeman talking about how he would pardon him when he becomes governor. Let's listen.
12:01 on January 1st of 2027, I will pardon Sergeant Eric Duran. Sergeant Duran didn't intend to kill him. He didn't take his weapon out and shoot him. He was trying to slow him down. He had no intent to use lethal force. It was a bad circumstance, but let's put the fault where it is. Eric Dupre, who was somebody that was out on an open charge of felonious assault, someone who had just been in the middle of an undercover drug deal.
Yeah.
We don't celebrate
you could cut it.
Eric Dupre's death.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. That cop was railroaded, and I'd like to see Blakeman get in, but I have no faith in New Yorkers. Okay, people, we'll see you next week, all right? Anthony Cumia Show, signing off.
Thanks for listening to The Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear The Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
I hate Steven Singer, but you know what I love? Mothers. Think about it. Before morning coffee and chaos, before the day even starts, there's mom, the one who wakes up at sunrise, packs lunches, drives carpools, and somehow keeps everything together. She's the sunrise of the family. That's why Steven Singer created something special this Mother's Day. His brand new Sunrise 24-karat gold-dipped rose. This exclusive rose captures colors of the morning. The morning sunrise with sparkling blue that fades to a pinkish purple, to a warm golden yellow. It's stunning. Steven's gold-dipped roses are real roses dipped in, preserved in real gold, guaranteed to last a lifetime, just like mom's love. They arrive in beautiful gift box. They're shipped for free with your own personalized message. Steven's new Sunrise Rose is just $89 exclusively and only available at IHateStevenSinger.com. Celebrate the moms who make every sunrise possible. Steven Singer Jewelers.